Thank you, Mr. President. Many a time and oft in this chamber, we have honored on several occasions, recognized the achievements of outstanding Filipinos for their valuable service to the Filipino people and their laudable contributions to the nation. Pitoy Moreno, a fashion designer par excellence, was born on February 25, 1930, to Feliciana Reyes Barrientos and Jose Moreno Brodet in Gagalangin, Tondo, Manila. In 1951, he graduated from the University of the Philippines with a degree in Fine Arts. And afterwards, Mr. President, he started creating various designs that were going to be distinctively Filipino. As he started promoting formal Filipiniana, stately ternos with upright butterfly sleeves, better known as the Maria Claras, with nip waists, straighter flared hems, 19th century. Styled Maria Claras with softly flowing lines and shoulders draped by the panuelo, a popular look for weddings and structured formal evening wear in local textile and fabrics. He became known as the fashion czar of Asia for being an ambassador of Philippine fashion, who introduced local materials to the international community and has staged shows in every major capital around the globe. His fashion designs were exhibited before royalty and VIPs in London, Paris, Monaco, Marbella, Rome, Madrid, Copenhagen, Athens, Barcelona, Sweden, Vienna, Moscow, Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago, Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Morocco, Honolulu, Tokyo, Beijing, Hong Kong, Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, Singapore, Manila, Cebu, and Davao, among others. That's a mouthful. He also participated in the fashion exhibition at the Seattle's World's Fair and the New York's World's Fair. Where does he dress up? Mr. President, Pitoy Moreno, this fashion designer par excellence, dressed up almost all the first ladies of the Philippines. He made gowns for two Philippine presidents, Cory Aquino and Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo. Royalties such as Queen Sirikit of Thailand, Queen Margarita Saxe-Coburg-Gotha of Bulgaria, Queen Sofia of Greece, Princess Margaret of Britain, Princess Suga of Japan, and the Marquesa de Villaverde, to name a few. Nancy Reagan, Pat Nixon, Betty Ford, Christina Ford, Margot Fontaine, and Dida Blair also were dressed up by Pitoy Moreno. In 2006, he was handpicked by President Arroyo to parade his designs at the ASEAN Summit Gala dinner for the heads of state. He was also renowned for being a beauty queen maker, having dressed up Stella Marquez Araneta, Gloria Diaz, Aurora P1, Tingting Coanco, Conchetina Sevilla Bernardo, Maita Gomez, Tony Parsons, and he served as consultant and member of the executive committee of Binibining Pilipinas Charities, Incorporated. He became the first president of Manila Designers, the Philippine Couture Association, and was credited as the founder of the Karilagan International, a fashion cultural organization which promoted Filipino fashion design in the country. He published two books in the early 1990s, Kasalan, a literature about the customs, traditions, fashion designs, and ceremonial frills of a traditional Filipino wedding and Philippine costumes, as well as a book on traditional Filipino dresses. He actually inspired me to come out with a world of weddings, Wow Philippines, Mr. President, as we could compete with other destinations for weddings such as Guam and the like. He received numerous awards and recognition for his works, including the 2008 Gawad CCP Paris Sining Award. His works were featured in various international fashion magazines such as Vogue, Harper's, Bazaar, Holiday, and Le Figaro, when Moreno introduced the world's Huzi, Pina, and Lepanto to world fashion. And of course, he always had time for others. He was a philanthropist also, and created the Jose Moreno Foundation that funded student scholarships from the UP, School of Fine Arts, and College of Medicine for more than 2 decades. His shows were also fundraisers, such as his Golden Anniversary Fashion Show, a tribute to J. Moreno, where the proceeds went to Arts for the People program of the Cultural Center of the Philippines. And his last show in 2011, Jose Pitoy Moreno, a tribute gala, an event honoring himself where the proceeds went to the beneficiaries of the Lopez Group Foundation, Incorporated, assisted community programs and projects. Mr. President, I would like the body to adopt this resolution principally because rarely do we find a man of, absolute talent in his craft, being number one in his craft, and at the same time a heart for those who have less in life. And therefore, Mr. President, I would like to ask that this resolution be adopted by the body and to be sent to the family of the late Jose Pitoy Moreno. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Senator Drilon.
With the permission of the principal sponsor, we do request the privilege of being a co-author and co-sponsor of this measure, Mr. President. You know, Mr. President, I had the privilege and the pleasure of knowing Pitoy Moreno during his lifetime. He was such a nice person to be with, notwithstanding all the things that he has achieved. It has never gotten into his head, notwithstanding the fact that he rubbed elbows with the most powerful and the most beautiful ladies in this country. He did not lose his perspective, and he was always well-grounded, especially when it came to social issues. I have personal knowledge of his charitable work, and as I said, I have had a number of interactions with him, and those pleasant memories I will always treasure in my life. So it is with great pleasure and honor that I delivered this co-sponsorship speech that I request be allowed to be co-author. But there is one achievement of Mr. Moreno, which the good sponsor, Senator Gordon, did not include in the resolution. And I'm wondering why. And that is the membership of Mr. Moreno in a fraternity. Bakit po hindi sinama ang pagsali ni Mr. Moreno sa isang fraternity? So maybe we should consider that, Mr. Sponsor.
I would gladly insert that.
Hindi ko po pinabanggit kung ano yung fraternity na yun.
I would gladly insert that, knowing that the Sigma Rho is now recognizing a member of my fraternity, the Upsilon Sigma Phi fraternity. Our motto is we gather light to scatter. And I'm glad that I precisely excluded that so that I would allow the Sigma Rho fraternity, one of the stalwarts of the Sigma Rho fraternity, to really come out with good judgment and introduce that. And I willingly accept it with great honor and pride. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
So an amendment that Mr. Moreno was the most outstanding member of the Upsilon fraternity.
Mr. President, I submit, because Mr. President, Pitoy Moreno was great in his craft, as was Ben Cervantes. Ben Cervantes was also of that ilk. He was one of their greatest playwrights, and he was also a member of the fraternity.
Yes, I'm just kidding. We can insert that he was one of the most outstanding citizen of our country, an Upsilonian, a member of the Upsilon fraternity. Thank you, Mr. President. Subject to sign.
The Upsilon Sigma fraternity, Sigma Phi fraternity, obviously takes pride in its great brothers and its great sons, Mr. President. And I thank my good friend from the other fraternity, the Sigma Rho fraternity, for his good judgment in making sure that that is recognized. We always give credit where credit is due. Thank you, Mr. President.